Good evening and welcome to my Facebook Live this evening. My name's Jenny McCormack. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm based in Brackley in the UK. Thank you so much for joining me this evening for our Facebook Live. I don't normally pop on a Friday, but I missed yesterday's Facebook Live because I was down with my mum, and so I promised that I would pop on this evening in place. So welcome to everybody. If you are joining me live, then don't hesitate to ask any questions or add any comments. They're always welcome. If you're watching me on catch up, on Facebook replay or on YouTube, if you have any questions or queries regarding my demonstration this evening and craft making, card making even, it's Friday isn't it, then don't hesitate to add a comment. I monitor those on a regular basis and I'd be delighted to get back to you with any questions that may need answers. So I'm going to move over to my crafting desk. We've been using Colour and Contour, that stamp set, and the matching dies this week. I'll show you the cards that we've made so far, and then I'll go on to make something slightly different. I am going to be using Fresh Freesia as my colour choice today, nice and summery, although our sunshine has disappeared this evening. It's been replaced by clouds and the forecast of rain for tomorrow, but it looks like we'll be okay this evening. So with any chance, I will finish here and then go and mow my lawn before the rain arrives. That's the plan. Okay, let me take you over to my crafting desk, move my microphone over, which I forgot to do the other day, and let's get crafting. So here we are. Let me just get a little bit closer. Right, so welcome. Let me see if anybody is has joined us already. I can't see any on my computer. That doesn't mean that there aren't any, because Facebook does like to be slightly tricky in that you can't always see what's occurring. So let's give this a go. I'm going to start by showing you the cards that I've made so far this week, using the Colour and Contour set. So this is the stamp set, as you can see here, Colour and Contour. Because Stampin' Up is an American company, you can see we've got the American spelling. So what I have done in my blog posts and on my site is spelt colour in both ways, so that if you're searching for Colour and Contour at a later date, you'll be able to find it. Hi Tracy, thanks for joining us. Yes, I'm well, thank you. It's pleasantly cooler this evening, and normally I'm one that loves the sun, but even for me it's got a little bit too close this week. So we're going to carry on with this one, and on the first day we just did some stamping, then we did some die cutting, and what I'm actually going to do is use this one and die cut it. I'm just having a look around my desk to see where I put the put the dies. Hopefully I'll find it in time. I've got some of them here. That's not particularly helpful. Okay, let me show you the cards that we've made so far. So some of these I've made with you here, and some I have made in my coffee and card sessions that have taken place this week. So these are in no particular order. So the first one we started off with is using this die cut here from the Scallop Contour Dies, And I've stamped obviously the larger flower, stamped the infill and those really useful dots, and just layered that up. And this is a note card sized card, and then on the envelope I've added that for a little bit of interest. We then have this one here with the daisies, and I've done these in various colours. So this one is pumpkin pie with sequins in the centre, and I've added Daffodil Delight as the infill, and I've also used that leaf stamp. Now I have actually cut this portion of the leaf off because I prefer just the single leaf rather than this curly piece here. So all I did was take a pair of scissors to the stamp and cut straight across the connection. So this is the stamp, and you can still put it together. So I don't tidy these up once I've done that, because then if you do want to be able to put it together and stamp it as one, you can do. So that I feel that's made that more useful. Hi Pat, hope you're chilling and relaxing this evening. And one of the sentiments says "here for you now," and it's designed to go with this one here that says "and in better days ahead." But I quite like "here for you" in its own right, without necessarily using the other part of that. So what I am actually going to do is cut through this as well, so that I've just got "here for you." So you'll see, you'll hear some people call this stamping surgery because it's surgery with a stamp. Just going to take my glasses off, and what I'm going to do is literally cut straight through that stamp. Now you can do this with photopolymer. You can also do it with red rubber. You just need to have some very sharp scissors and just cut it straight. Don't cut it at an angle. So there we go. I can put that stamp back again like so, and actually as it's photopolymer it sort of sticks itself together, but it means then I can use that sentiment "here for you," because if you have "here for you now" on its own, it almost implies I'm here for you now but I won't be tomorrow. But what it actually means is "here for you now and in better days ahead." But it may be that that's not appropriate, which is why I've cut that up. So don't be afraid to make your stamps work for you, and cut off any bits that are irrelevant, especially if you have a sentiment that you wouldn't use in that context. Okay, so let me carry on through these samples. So there's that one, so "here for you now," and I've gone a little bit overboard on the back of that envelope with the pretty daisies. This is just a straight monochrome one in polished pink, same sort of thing. This one is the daisies, and I've left them white behind. So I've got "You're Absolutely Amazing." I've added some green on for the leaves, and again, just because I could, went absolutely mad on this envelope. And then this is the one I did today in our coffee and card session this afternoon, and I stamped it, and instead of using the infill stamp I just used my blends pen in light polished pink and just did a little brush stroke for each of those leaves, just to give a completely different look. So those are the basic stamped ones with assorted envelopes. And then these were the ones that I did, I think I did these, yes, I did these Wednesday morning. So a similar thing, I stamped the daisies, but I die cut them out with this die cut here, and I did this scallop here with the coordinating scallop die. So this cuts out and does the dotted line. Not sure how much of that you can see in there, but it does this really pretty dotted line. And for these cards I actually cut and die cut this edge on both of them at the same time, as these are only paper. This has got a little bit of ribbon behind it and the dots going through, and then this one here, which is in pale papaya, I've just gone monochrome right the way through. I have added a little bit of Mango Melody in the centre. Thank you, Pat. I don't know which one I like best. I think the popular choice was the pink, but quite a few people did like the monochrome as well. So for this evening, I'm going to be stamping this image on a piece of paper, and I'm going to die cut that out, assuming I do find my pack of dies, which are not very far away because I got them out ready earlier. And I've got some components. So I'm not quite sure how this is going to go together yet, but let me show you my sort of idea. So I've got some ribbon. So this is all white and Fresh Freesia. So I've got a piece of that designer paper that I've cut and used the scallop edge with. This is not cut to size. I've got a piece of white which will either go on top or underneath, and I'm thinking probably underneath. And I've got a Fresh Freesia base card. So what I'm thinking is something along the lines of these two layered together and centralized and attached to the front, and then I've got another of the Scallop Contour pieces which I've cut out and I put through an embossing folder. Now this might be too much, I might have to change this for a white one, and then stamp that flower and have it laid on top of this. Okay, so I might want to see more white, for example, as a contrast. And then cut this off across the top. I might also switch to a white card, so there's a bit less of the Fresh Freesia. So lots of options. And I also have, actually this is a bit too large. So what I'm going to do is start with a piece of basic white card, stamp my flower and die cut it, and then have a little bit of work with the elements and see what I can come up with. I've got the ribbon as well to go with it. So let us grab this stamp and a block like so, and I think what I'm going to do is stamp it with early espresso and then infill with the Fresh Freesia colour. That's my plan. So I hope you ladies have had a good week. Your colour contours dies are on their way to me, Tracy, if they might even have arrived already. And I've also ordered the domes that you wanted, the cloches. Okay, just going to put this on at an angle, like so. Okay, so it's a nice artistic flower. I will use this for the sentiment. Actually, what I might do is stamp two and then see which one. Pleasure, Tracy. I might be your way tomorrow. I don't know if you're around or if you're at motocross. If you are, I'll pop them down for you. Okay, so let's have a look. So the infill for this, and obviously you could equally fill it in with pen, is this one here, and it's got the little bud here fits that bud. So if I just lay this on top You can see where that's going to go. It's not an exact match, okay, so don't worry that it's not going to fit exactly. What sort of time? Probably 11:30, 12 maybe, but I'm not sure. Depends on my daughter's flights tomorrow, so I can keep you posted tomorrow if that's okay. Okay, so this is Fresh Freesia, so I'm just going to stamp it once and then stamp it again. So I'm going to go for the first generation of stamping. I hope you can see that okay, ladies. Like so. So there's that. And what I might do is ink one up with Fresh Freesia as well. See what you think. This is dark and light Fresh Freesia. So I'm going to use my blends pen. And I could use a bit of green or I can leave it as is. So this is dark Fresh Freesia. So I'm just going to use this sort of in the centre and around the edge. So this is a very relaxed style of flower. Okay, so I'm just going to do that around the edges and then blend it around. So that's my dark, and then this is the light, and I'm just using the small bullet tip rather than the brush tip, and then we'll decide which one we like the best. Leaving a little bit of white around the edge, so. There we go. And then I can decide whether to add the green for this little bit or whether to leave it all so it will be monochrome. Which is basically one colour and black. Or in our case, espresso. Okay, so what do you think? Should I do the green of the stalk? Maybe if I cut it out, we can. That will help us decide. So I have my ribbon as well. Okay, so this is the remainder of the Scallop Contour set. So as you can see, you get this large scallop edged one with a lacy edge. You get this next one down with the dotty edge. The next one down with the dashed edge. And then two smaller ones. One has a slit for a ribbon. And then you have got the daisy die here. And then this one is the one we're going to use. And then the scallop, long scallop edge, which I've obviously tucked away somewhere. I would say safely, but I think that's asking a bit much. Okay, so this die here fits around the edge of our flower, so I'm just going to use our small die cutter machine. I think I'm going to use this one. I think for this particular design I like it full as opposed to partly in. But if you did this and you weren't quite sure, you could go back with the blends pen or your Stampin' Write markers and add a little bit more detail or fill in any of the gaps. So if you didn't like that sketchy look, that sort of slightly watercolor effect, then you could do a combination. So I think I'm just going to do that while I'm here. So do you think I should put green for the stalks, or shall I leave it as is? I wonder. There we go. Difficult to know what bits are petals. That's what I'll do, is do a little bit of green on this one and see. Let me just check your comments. See if I've got anything different on my computer. So this is light granny apple green, so I'm just going to do literally a brush tip here, like so. There's a little leaf there, and those are just stalks. So perhaps it is quite nice with a bit of green. Just goes to show, doesn't it? And there is that separate leaf that I cut in pieces, so you could also add that if you want, you know, if you wanted to build up this, but I'm just going to leave that as is and die cut it. So I have the die, I have my mini machine here. I know it takes up a fair bit of space in front of the camera, it's actually quite small and it folds up really neatly, so if you're restricted to space, it's perfect. That's our mini cut and emboss machine. Obviously it's you can only use it up to the width of the plates, but in our new catalogue it does tell you if it will fit the mini or not. So I'm just going to trim around here because obviously that's not going to fit in that direction. So I did it on the at an angle. Not sure if you can see that. Oh no, it's in a little bit of shade. Maybe if I turn it like that, you will be able to see it a little bit better. So pop that on my plate, conscious of this shade here. Laying this on, now you could put a bit of washi tape or magic tape on here if you wanted to make sure that that didn't move. And then find your plate that goes on the top. These plates are interchangeable, so it doesn't matter which way round you have them. And then pop the top end into the machine, and then you can just wind it through like so. There we have it, as you can see. Okay, now I'm going to deliberate whether that is too big or too much of the colour. Let us see. If it is, I'll just cut another white panel rather than have this one, because that was the look I was looking for on that embossed detail behind. Might be a little bit too much. So I've got this layer and this layer. Now I can take this either way, coming down from the top or coming up from the bottom with that on there. Now to me that gets completely lost, so I've got two choices. One is just have one layer of that. Assume this is my card base. Do that. With that at the bottom. Like so. And a sentiment here or down here even. That feels a little bit more balanced, doesn't it? So let me grab a white base card. Just here. And I could wrap some ribbon around this piece or this piece. So I'm just going to fold this. Normally I would score it, but I'm just going to fold it for now, as I know it's the right size. Just use my bone folder to create a nice crisp edge. So I'm thinking, put these two together. Cut that off. Pop that on there and put a sentiment just in here. Let me just see what it looks like turn the other way around. Decisions. Right. Thank you, Tracy. So I think what I'm going to do is put these two together and stamp my sentiment and then attach that. Okay, so I'm going to start with that and just going to use some seal for that, and looking to see how deep I want this to be. Don't want it huge, but equally I don't want it tiny. Let's trim that down and have a look. So just going to trim this edge. I know that the width of this with the scallop is wider than our standard A6 card. So what I'm going to do is put that down there. Oh, perhaps I could take a bit more off. Oh, got a bit of something in my track there. So there we go. And then just going to trim this. So this would be 14.85. There we go. Let's have a look and see. So this is sort of in my head, but Now I'm wondering if that's too white now. Let's have a look, see. So that's on there with that, either at a jaunty angle or straight, and a sentiment here. Or the same thing top down with a sentiment here. And I have got my dots, so I can add a bit of detail in here behind. Just try it on this. No, it gets completely lost, doesn't it? Okay, top down or bottom up? Looks a bit like a curtain, doesn't it? Just feels a little bit out of balance. Bottom up, yeah. Thank you, Tracy. Okay, let's just try one thing. I swear you did that on purpose, Pat. Pat says top down. That's another option. Of course, I could do it without that altogether. Yeah, maybe that's too much. Maybe that would be better. With some dots across the back and a sentiment here and some ribbon. Let's have a look at it the other way around. Yeah, that's too heavy then, isn't it? Okay, so the bottom there is balancing the top of here. So what I'm going to do is add some dots going across here in the Fresh Freesia. So this is a really useful set of dots here. Grab a block and so I'm just going to drop those across the top, and it gives the element of movement and texture. Thank you, Pat. So just turning this so you get a different bit of the dots each time, and it's not just a repeat. And it's amazing how that really shows sometimes if you just literally stamp it in the same place. You can see the repeat pattern. So I'm going to build this up a little bit more underneath. And this is tone on tone. And I might just put some up here, here. I've gone a bit overboard. Never mind. Okay. So that across there, this like that, and a sentiment here. I'm going to leave that one out, so maybe I'll put the other one on it. Like so, that feels better. So here's a variation, girls. I could add the ribbon, if I find the end, around here and have a sentiment there, or I could just put a bow or something on the flower. There we go. Just want a little bow. Like that on there. Obviously this is going to come down to the bottom. Like so. And a sentiment in here. So I've got thank you for everything, happy for you. I could make this a birthday card as well. Or you're absolutely amazing. Maybe thank you for everything. Let's have a look at the height and the width. That is the thing, because to me it needs something going across there, and that's too short. Let's have a look at the amazing one. You're absolutely amazing. Yes, perfect. So I can stamp that in the Fresh Freesia. I could also stamp it in Early Espresso to make that really stand out. Let me do one after the other, and then we can decide. Let's pop it on this piece here, and then let me know what you think. So I'll do the Fresh Freesia first. I'm just wondering if it will stand out enough. I could take a deeper colour. Let's just do it in. Yeah. You know exactly what I'm going for, don't you, girls? So I'm going to stamp this here in case I make any horrific mistakes. There we go. That's going to go onto there. You're saying yes to the Early Espresso, Tracy? Or were you saying yes to Fresh Freesia? Okay, so let's put this layer on there. I'm going to use wet glue so that I can move it around a little bit. It's been stood up the wrong way. Let me try another one. Oh yes, they're both stood up the wrong way. Let's just let it come down from the top. Come on. There we go. Patience. So just a light layer. Okay, and around the edges, but not right on the edge, but only a small amount of glue so that it's not spreading out. Okay. And opening this up so I can see that I'm actually on the front piece and not lining it up with the back, for example, and avoiding that to make sure I don't smudge it. Oh good, thanks Tracy. There we are. And then I've got this here, and I think I'm going for a straight version of that. Now you could actually cut out and have a few. That'd be another way to do it. But I think I've got enough of other things going on that one will work. I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. I can feel the wind picking up. It's banging all the doors. It's nice to have a little bit of a breeze, isn't it, girls? Okay, and then this is obviously a very fine piece here, so I'm just literally trimming tiniest bit. So one on this leaf here. There we go. And then a small bit in here. Sorry if you can't, I know you probably can't see that. But I know this is on the white, so it's not quite as critical, whereas this here at the top would show against the background. There we go. Whoops, Daisy, come on. I'm attaching myself to everything. So I've got, I think I'm going to go in the centre of that scallop, so it's nicely spaced. Add my little ribbon with a glue dot if I can reach it, and if not, just a bit of wet glue, just out of my line of sight at the minute. Did I pick up the right one? I have now. Okay, so a little bit of wet glue on the back of that bow there. So there we are. Oh right, I just had a note to say that I won't be down tomorrow. I'll be down on Sunday. I need to find out where it is that I've got to take my daughter. She flies in tomorrow morning, so I'll find out where it is and I'll let you know, Tracy, if you're free on Sunday. It might be nowhere near, who knows. Okay, so there we go. There's my finished card, which I'm really pleased with, the final design. So I've got these other bits and pieces. So what I might do is, you can hang on in if you want while I design something with these elements. Let's die cut this piece, but if you've got things to do, need to go, then that is fine. Find my die again. So just going to add that onto there. You love it. Tracy loves it. Thank you, Tracy. Okay. This plate on top. Are you around Sunday, Tracy, if I do head your way, or are you doing something on Sunday? Because I don't want to inconvenience you. For sure. And I think this flower would look lovely in yellow. I've done yellow daisies, but I haven't done this flower in yellow, so I think I might have to. I might do that on Monday at Coffee and Card, actually, because it's so pretty. I think it would look lovely. So I happen to have these lays here. So these contour dies are designed to work, okay, probably similar sort of time, I'm guessing, but I honestly don't know. Doesn't look right at a jaunty angle, does it? Okay, let's layer these up. So I'm going to pop this one on dimensionals. So I put this through the Pretty Flowers embossing folder, if you can see that or not. So let's pop this up with dimensionals. I'll find out a time when she's riding. She's riding somebody else's horse, so it depends on when they'll be there. So I'll keep you posted, Tracy. Honestly, I don't want to mess you around. But equally, if it's local, it's too good an opportunity to miss. So I'm going to centralise this as much as I can. And this one I'm going to do, I think I will do that on, because it makes quite a difference when it throws that shadow, doesn't it? There we go. And then I've got this little bit here. It was lovely to see you today, Pat. Even if only in passing. Or was it yesterday? No, it wasn't yesterday. I was down with Mum yesterday. Right. Let's cut this into 2 small pieces. And I think I'm going to go for a contrast colour with this. Don't know what though. Go. And for this one I could put the ribbon right round it and do a little bow. Let's have a look and see what that looks like. Just a sort of tie it all together, as it were. It might be too heavy for this. Let's see what we think. I don't mean physically heavy, but just heavy against the delicate flower. Trim this off. And then make it smaller. What do you think? Oh, hi, Carol. Oh, Wednesday. Oh, dear. Thank you, Pat. Yes, it was Wednesday. That's right, because I came in with Diana for Diana's bread, didn't I? Gosh, I'm glad you remember. So, Carol G, I hope you're keeping well, my dear. So this was our first one that we finished with a bit of deliberating. And with the bits that are left over, I'm making this one. I might just put that on. Almost tempted to do either espresso or granny apple green and then onto a note card. Let me have a look at my layers. Well, I could take it onto a bigger card with the patterned paper behind. Let's see. Could do that onto a white card. Potentially. That would look quite pretty, wouldn't it? And in fact, I could cut this with the larger layer so that you get to see the other scallop. So I very carefully pick those dies up to show you. And I put them down. And now I can't see them. That's slightly crazy, isn't it? I haven't moved from my chair and I'm here and they would be within reach. Okay, so I might stick, there they are, just at an oblique angle so I couldn't see them. So I'm just thinking if I cut this one out, then you can see that larger one. Then we're getting 2 for 1, aren't we? I do love these papers. So let me do that. Let's just trim that edge off. Yeah, yeah, I put them in the packet. It was finding the packet, Tracy. That was the problem. So this is just about 4 inches. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of leeway. Cut that, and I could use the reverse of this if I want. It's got like a fleur-de-lis. This has got the crisscross pattern, and then the other one has got floral and sort of like lines with dots on. So what I'm going to do is cut this one out. Oh, nice, Carol. I think they're just, these dies are just a real go-to, have, you know, staple. A bit like the Stitch So Sweetly, but they're, instead of being all the same, they've got, you know, different patterns. So let's pop this through and we'll be done. Oh, missing a plate. So what have you ladies got planned for the weekend? I hope you have something nice in mind and not getting too wet. it's got darker and darker. I keep looking out to see if the rain started. I've got the windows open, but nothing here yet. I think it's coming in sort of overnight, isn't it? Okay, there we go. So that's cut that straight out. So I've got the choice of the two sides. So this one with the fleur-de-lis. Oh, it's not quite a fleur-de-lis. And then this one, which is probably one of my favourites, with the crisscross. Now this doesn't quite fit our card with the border all the way around because it's designed for an American card base. And American card bases are slightly wider than ours and slightly less tall. Oh, Tracy's crocheting, yes. Oh, nice. Okay. Oh yes, contours and stitch. That's a good combination, isn't it? So I'm thinking I might just layer it like that. That will make a lovely thank you card. Also make a nice wedding card, isn't it? And then just have a sentiment on the inside. I could move this all up, but I think it's not, you know, you could have a simple straight sentiment there, but it's too squished in for my liking. So I'm going to do that and just layer that up as is. Sometimes I cut down the top of this so that the card is more even, and I think I might do that for this one here. Just take a little bit off. I think it's 1/4 inch difference, so I think I will just take maybe 1/2 centimetre. See what that looks like. There we go. Yeah, that's just a little slightly more even. Okay, so let's layer that up. So I'm going to put this layer flat because it is paper. Let me just see if that would look better. I don't think there's much in it. You see more of that pattern, don't you? So let's pop that on. So again, using the wet glue, not too close to the edge and not too much height of glue. Shouldn't be able to see anything height wise if you look down at it. Positioning this centrally. And this, if you've been with me for a little while or been with Stampin' Up for a little while, we had a punch that did this edge and we had a corner punch that did this too. Very similar, not exactly the same, but very, very similar. Oh, Pat's visiting Mum, jolly good, and crafting Sunday. Yes, I will need to try and get and see my mum. I was there all day yesterday, but maybe get to see her at the weekend. And I think I'm going to pop these on dimensionals because I've cut the card down. I know that it's going to fit in the envelope. 1, 2, 3. So have you got the stamp set, Carol, I wonder? I know you said you've got the dies. Let's put that on there to keep that ribbon in place. So this is the stamp set, and in fact I bought the dies before I bought the stamp set, just because I wanted the dies to do all the different layering. So sometimes I buy them together and also you get the discount, but other times it's a case of what suits you at the time. Hello Brenda, thank you. Yes, I'm not normally here on a Friday, but I'm making up for not being here yesterday. And I can't believe we've been here for nearly an hour. I must really prattle on, mustn't I, sometimes? Okay, those are all done and dusted. So just going to centralize this. And so one thing I wanted to say, which I think I did relatively recently, and I've certainly done in a recent class, is when you use dimensionals, obviously when you put it down, they can stick fairly swiftly. So if you want a bit of wiggle room with your dimensionals, then take a little bit of the wet glue and apply it to the back of the dimensionals. And then what that allows you to do is it stops the dimensionals from sticking straight away. It gives you the, I knew that was not attached. It gives you the height, and but it stops it from sticking, so you can still move it. So you get the benefit of the wet glue and the benefit of the height of the dimensionals. So if you haven't come across that tip, that's quite a useful one. So it still allows you a bit of wiggle room, and obviously it will stick really, really well once it's down as well. Oh, you bought, so Carol bought stamps at the same time. Oh, lovely. And Carol's sister's coming. That's brilliant. Pat, yeah, my mum's not very good at the minute, I'm afraid, which is why I'm trying to see her as frequently as I can. There we go. So that one I'm going to leave as is and just put a sentiment on the inside. And I might actually send that to my mum, because these are my mum's favourite colours. You probably know if you've followed me for a while. Usually if I'm doing a card in these colours, it's for my mum. So there we go, there's our cards from today. So using the Colour and Contour stamp set here, and we've used the die cut just with this one here. I haven't actually decorated the envelopes, I will do, and also we have this little bud, so I'll probably put that on the inside of the card. I've used the dot across the back of here and the Scallop Contour die for this one here and for these 3 different layers. This is how that stamp set stamps out. So it's bigger than you see on the front, and I've also done some cutting. So I've cut this so it now says here for you, and I've cut this part of that leaf off so you get a full leaf. Thank you, Carol. Hopefully she will. And yes, nice sentiment. So I've used You're Absolutely Amazing here, which will be perfect for my mum. So there we go. Thank you so much. If you joined part of the way through, do feel free to go back and watch it. It'll be available on replay almost straight away. And right at the beginning, I showed you the cards that we'd already made this week in both here on the Facebook Live, which are these ones here, and also in Coffee and Cards. So there's a whole selection of cards here. So you can hop back through and have a look at those. And I am trying to get my blog back up and running properly, so these will also be posted to my blog, and you can subscribe to that so that every time there's a new blog post, you'll just get an email with a summary and you can click and have a look at that. So I hope that proves useful for everybody. Oh, what the printed ones? Yes, I either put it in the back or I put it in the inside. Sometimes if it's on the inside, it can get a bit messy if I haven't cleaned my stamps. It also means when I'm running a class that you've got 2 views of the stamp. So you've got that one there, which I can take out and show to people, and that one. So it makes it easier for classes and Coffee and Card. So there we go. Thank you, everybody. Oh, thanks, Pat. That's very kind of you to say, and I hope your mum's okay. So thank you for joining me. I really appreciate your company, especially on a Friday evening. And enjoy the cooler weather for those of you in the UK. and I hope you have a nice weekend. A fair bit of rain forecast, but I think not for us till later this evening. Possibly overnight start with thunderstorms tomorrow. So take care, everybody. Stay safe. Let me hop back and say goodbye. There we go. There I am. So thank you so much for joining me. It's still nice and bright here, but I keep looking for spots of rain. Nothing as yet. I do need a serious tidying up of my craft room. That's one thing I'll be doing this weekend. And I will also be preparing all my packs for my class in a box, which is back in person as well, in Brackley next Tuesday afternoon and in Milton Keynes next Saturday morning. And also I have my class in a box online as well next week. So thank you so much for joining me. Do look after yourself, look after your loved ones. I hope you can keep crafting, and in the meantime, take care. Thanks so much. Bye for now.